Welcome back to Chase's Everything Shooting. Today's episode is Biden's executive order. Came out just about an hour ago. And the funny part about this whole thing is I wanted to listen to it myself and hear what he says. I read the executive order this morning, but I wanted to see what he was going to say before I made the video. And so I logged on to the White House and it said it'll be 3:45 Eastern Time. Well, 3:45 Eastern Time came and went. Not a soul on there. And I'm going, is he going to do it? What happened? Did he fall? What's going on? So at 4:40 Eastern Time, he decides to show up to the press conference. All right, so let's get to the meat of what he said. What did he say? Blah, 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 blah. All right, so let's get down to what he really said. What he said was first is that he wants Congress to enact more gun control laws. Do I really think that that's going to happen? No. Okay, let's get down to the other meat. Well, we need safe firearm storage. Most of us out there who are responsible firearms owners, we make sure that our firearms are stored safely and that children and other adults can't get to them. But there are a few boneheads, but there will always be a few boneheads. So anything that's going to really happen on that initiative? No, I don't think so. Okay, so let's get to the next thing. He wants the DOJ, the Department of Justice, to start putting together and researching how the firearms manufacturers are marketing to children. I don't think I've seen a firearms advertisement really for kids. Don't know about that one. Of course, I'm sure somebody in the gun control lobby said, hey, they're marketing to little kids. Now, way back when I was a child in the early 60s, hey, we had Daisy BB gun advertisements on TV. Didn't kill anybody. It sure as heck hurt a lot when you got hit with it. But I don't think I recall any super duper, hey, take Johnny out and have him shoot something. It didn't happen. Now, yes, they had advertisements about taking your son or daughter out shooting or hunting. That was in there. But the advertisement wasn't about selling a firearm or having, some cartoon selling a firearm to a child. It just didn't happen. If that were the case, the Roadrunner would have been shooting the coyote instead of running from him. But that's the way it goes. So that shows you how old I am. Well, let's come back to the rest of it. The other thing that he really pushed in today's executive order and speech was reporting bad FFLs. He's asking the ATF to publish a list of FFLs that have had warnings and violations. Well, let's talk about that for just a second. I have a very good friend that's an FFL owner, and there are a lot of infractions that happen that are very minor. They forgot to check box number 16. Oh, they didn't check box number 42. Oh, they didn't sign on line 21 with their full name because they should have used their middle name too. There's a lot of that's very, very minor violations that are a mistake. When you have employees, things happen. Now, are there FFLs that are bad? There probably are. I don't know of any, but there probably are. And some of those probably are selling firearms to people they shouldn't, or they're not fulfilling the paperwork that they should fill out because they feel like that's an infringement of their rights. Well, when you sign up to be an FFL, you know what you have to do. So I'm going to leave that side of it. Publishing a list, does that mean that I'm going to look at this list and go, oh, Joe's on this list, I'm not going to go down to Joe's gun shop and buy a gun? No. It means that they've had some violations. If the violations are bad enough, they won't be an FFL. It'll be done. They'll be gone. So another meaningless thing in this executive order. He wants to do mental health. He wants mental health to be at the top of our list in the gun industry. Okay, I get it. Most of the people committing the mass shootings, they're a little crazy. I get it. But you know what? It all comes down to, hey, someone should have said something about that. And if you look at some of these mass shooters, there are parents that knew they were not sane. There were school officials that knew that there were problems. There were police departments that showed up at family gatherings and knew that there were problems. Now, does that all mean that you lose your gun rights? No. It means there's problems. And that's one of the issues, our mental health. I don't know how to fix that. Now, I know 6 years ago, when California started off on this red flag law, I did a lot of research on it. And the red flags is that you need to turn someone in that could hurt themselves or hurt others, and it should be a family member or a psychologist or a psychiatrist or a doctor or a policeman or a fire person. Any first responder should be able to turn in anyone that they feel that could be a danger. Well, when you do that, you lose your gun rights. And you go on a list and you can't buy another firearm, even if you were falsely, charged with that. Now, here's the thing, is that most of the psychiatrists and psychologists that I talked to in my research said, number one, there's not an avenue to report this. Number two is that I'm not so sure that I would turn them in unless someone came in and said, I've been dreaming about doing a mass shooting, or tomorrow, if I don't get an A, I'm going to mass shoot my class. In that case, they'll turn them in. But otherwise, they're afraid of the liability. There becomes a civil liability if you take someone's rights away. And their gun rights, their rights to protect themselves. Are there going to be people falsely accused of this? Yes, it could happen. And it will happen. We know that. So That's another thing that he's pushing of, we need to get better with our red flag laws. Well, let me tell you, our red flag laws, I think we shouldn't have them, to be honest with you. But as a society, that we have people that aren't smart enough to say, hey, Johnny over here, he seems a little whacked right now. Maybe he shouldn't have his firearm. We should lock that up. Or, hey, we're going to have to put Johnny in the crazy house for a few days. Maybe he shouldn't be able to buy a firearm. Don't know. That's such a tough area. And for me, I just feel that parents and relatives have a better clue of what's going on. A teacher should have a good clue if Johnny's bad or having problems. There are avenues, but to forcibly take their gun rights right off the bat and then have them fight to get them back, that is wrong. That's definitely wrong, and that's not American. So in this whole big, long executive order, there's really nothing in it that's going to hold any weight on anything. The 2A people are going to be, oh, look. Hey, look, it's nothing. It's not important. This whole press conference was for him to stand up there, look like he's doing something, and he's in Monterey Park where the mass shooting was at the dance studio, and he's there for those people. That's all it is. It really is a political statement that he's there and he's going to run again. Vote for Joe. So let's just step back and look at it and know that nothing's really going to happen out of this whole thing. I have put in below the description a link to the exact executive order. Read it for yourself. See if you think I'm wrong. And if I'm wrong, hey, put it in the comments. I want to know. Hey, do me a favor, like and subscribe below. I appreciate you coming by.